Hi, I'm Ivan Zoot on behalf of House of Shaves, and I want to share revolution cutting, the notion of economy of motion, an efficiency system, a way to break down and approach haircuts based on my accomplishment of the Guinness World Records for haircutting. If I can break world records, I can save you time and help you do better haircuts more quickly while maintaining quality and while maintaining the client's perception of value. Customer satisfaction leads to long-term client retention, better haircuts, and a happier, healthier business. Let's do it. Now, we're going on a little field trip to a magical place called Ivan's Barbershop. Did we do this last time?
So.
We did. Okay. The point I would have made last time was that were none of you here, if I was alone in the shop cutting hair, I would cut this haircut standing here. Me and my client, my mirror, my station, my tools. That guy's gonna bang like that all morning, isn't he? Did he do that yesterday?
It'd be fun editing that out.
Yeah, right.
Not there up yesterday.
If I was alone in the shop with none of you here, I would cut this haircut like this. I would stand here, cut, I'd use my mirror, take advantage of my lighting, eye on the door, watching the cash register, keeping an eye on other employees, team members, doing my thing. However, for our purposes, number one, I'm demoing for all of you. Number two, I'm demoing for the camera. I am going to turn the mannequin this way. This is my spot. I am going to stand here. I'm going to do the whole haircut standing right there. I'm going to stand right here the whole time. I'm never going to move. But I'm going to reorient the client to my cutting position. I'm simply going to turn the chair. Step number one in our plan is cut in the perimeter. I said we're going to do this with a number 4 guard. I got a number 4 guard on my clipper. Anytime you use a guard, what's the rule? Guard your guard. And a fingertip on the corner of the guard, 2 fingers underneath the guard, halfway up this guy's head when the guard pops off. You are now having a bad day at the office. Don't blame him. You are responsible for what happens at the cutting end of the tool at all times. I got a little bit of an undercut here from a demo that I did the other day, but we're not going to let that bother us. I got some longer interior hair here. I'm just ignoring it. I'm coming up to the parietal ridge. I'm remaining stationary. I'm reorienting the client to my cutting position. Underneath the occipital bone from ear to ear, I'm going to cut on a bias, meaning I'm going to work at a diagonal. But I'm going to work in my direction of revolution. Now you'll notice I'm at the back of the ear on the client's right-hand side. If I see something over here that I missed, am I going to go back and get it? No, I'm not. I want to continue moving in the direction of revolution. I'll make a mental note of it. Hey, you missed that. You have to get that later. You can always add additional revolutions, but you don't want to break from the pattern of movement through the haircut. I have arrived at the end of revolution number 1. I am now at the client's right temple. The beginning of revolution number 2. Revolution number 2 is what?
Layer interior.
I'm going to layer the interior. Revolution number 2. I'm going to start at the client's right temple, proceed around to the client's left temple. I'm going to use my clipper cutting comb. You guys saw these when I was out here last time. I'm going to use my Zoot comb. I put the guard on the back of it. It gives me a little bit of longer teeth. It gives me a little bit of base behind it. I'm going to dampen the hair slightly. And I'm going to layer the interior using underhand clipper over comb. Let's talk real quick about clipper over comb. Clipper over comb overhand is called clip over comb overhand because my hand is over the clipper. Everybody with me on that? Mm-hmm. What do we call this one? Under, because my hand is under the clipper. How do you know which one to use when and where? There's a memory aid for this. Let's write it down. Over, under, over. That's how we know which one to use when and where. What is the dividing line on the head? The parietal ridge, the occipital bone, the widest point of the head. Anytime you are cutting clipper over comb under the crest line, you will use overhand position. Anytime you are cutting clipper over comb over the crest line, you will use underhand position. Let me show you why. If I am cutting clipper over comb under the crest line, below the curve of the head, below the parietal ridge, below the occipital bone, I want to use overhand positioning. Look at me now. My back is straight, my elbows are down, my wrist is straight, and this is a comfortable position in which I can work. I am overhand under the crest line. You with me? Smile and nod. As I come up over the crest line in overhand position, watch my body. I get a 90-degree bend in my wrist, my elbow is up, my shoulders are twisted, my hip is out, my back is bent. How long can you do this and maintain a healthy career?
Not very long.
Not very long. Conversely, when we want to cut over the crest line, top cutting, we go to underhand position. Over the crest line, underhand. Watch me now. Look at my body position. Wrist is straight, elbows down, shoulders relaxed, back straight. Comfortable position in which we can work. Have you ever had a coworker? I wouldn't do this. You wouldn't do this. It's those other people. You ever known somebody who works underhand, under the crest line, doing this crap? Like this? How long is this going to work? My knees are bent, my back is bent, my hip is out, my elbow's up. You're going to cripple yourself. Think about how you use your biomechanical parts, your body, your physical tools, to add long, healthy years to the back end of a career. Revolution number 2, from the client's right temple to the client's left temple. Layer the interior clipper over comb, underhand, because we are over the crest line. I would have left off right here at the client's right temple. I'm going to use what are called radial partings. My first section, it's like a slice of pie. My second section is half of that and half new hair. My third section, I'm always picking up a piece of the previously cut section in my comb to serve as my guide. I'm always adding new hair to it. I'm working my way around the head like spokes on a wheel. Is everybody with me on this? Over the crest line, underhand, 000 closer closed position, clipper over comb, starting from the client's right temple, working low to high. When I get to top dead center, I stop. I turn the chair slightly. I remain stationary. I work from low to high. I move over from low to high. All the way up to top dead center until I come up to previously cut sections. I work my way around from low to high. Clipper over comb, underhand, over the curve of the head, all the way up to top dead center. I find myself at the occipital bone at 6 o'clock at the center back of the head, completing layering. Revolution number 2, halfway through the head, all the way up to top dead center. Is everybody with me? I continue around the head. I'm in underhand position because I'm working over the curve of the head. And I hop over. And I continue. I remain stationary. I haven't gone anywhere. Now I layered through this. I might see some lumpiness or bumpiness or something back in through there, but I will not go back and address it. I'm not breaking from revolution. I'm staying consistent with my pattern around the head. I'm working my way around the head. I'm coming up to top dead center. I'm working clipper over comb. I'm over the crest line. I'm underhand. I find myself back again at the end of revolution number 2. I find myself at the client's left temple. End of revolution number 2 at the client's left temple. I'm going to make one slight break from revolution. I'm going to go out to the front of the nose to tie these two sides together over the top. End of revolution number 2, the beginning of revolution number 3. Revolution number 3 is blending. I'm going to blend, as I said, clipper over comb, overhand in a counterclockwise direction. I'm going to adjust the height of the chair as need be. I use a 4-guard through the perimeter. I've got a 4-guard on my comb. It's going to make it very easy for me to come in clipper over comb and blend this together. I start over where I left off. I head back in the opposite direction. I have my layered interior and my tapered perimeter. And at the occipital bone, at the crest line of the parietal ridge, I have some blending to do. I've already blended from here to here. I'm going to continue on blending around the head from low to high. In this case, I'm coming off the top of that 4. Now, if I get to here and I see something here that I missed, will I go back and get it? I will not. Why not?
You'll break rotation.
I'll break revolution. When will I get it?
Next one. Next step.
What?
Next step.
I'll get it in 6 because I got another opportunity to blend. Or I'll get it in 7 because I got my blending shears. Or I'll add an 8th. Could I, at the end of this haircut, having completed 7 revolutions, having looked at the haircut and gone, yeah, I'm not good with that yet. Could I stop at the or could I just add an 8th revolution? Of course you can. You're not locked in. One of the things we do when we workshop this is I tell people, we have a consultation with a client. You guys have clients coming in to do this. What's the plan? What are we doing? You'll tell me, we'll write it down. We'll number it. We'll know the directions. When we do hands-on workshop, I'll come up to you and I'll go, what revolution are you in? What direction are you going? And you'll be able to tell me on your sheet, well, I'm in 4, and if it's an even number, I'm right-handed, I must be starting at the right side going to the left. Okay. Plan your work and work your plan. Add revolutions later. You can always add on the back end of the haircut. You're not done until you're done. Make sense? We're in revolution number 3. I left off somewhere over here, like right about there. End of revolution number 3. The beginning of revolution number 4.
Detail.
Now, this is where we put that asterisk. Right now we are in the midst of what I described as our revolution cutting technique. I want to add to the conversation a second separate efficiency technique called lining early. If you learn, anybody here learn how to cut hair in a foreign country outside the United States of America? Anybody go to beauty or barber school in another country? In the United States of America, we typically are taught to cut hair in a linear fashion. We have a series of steps. We line, we edge, we blah, 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 blah. We do what we do. Almost always, lining and edging is finishing, detailing. it's almost always put at the end of the haircut. I am going to suggest, I'm going to argue that we move the lining and edging from the end of the haircut to the middle of the haircut. Remember our conversation earlier about overcutting? You ever been doing a haircut, doing a haircut, and all of a sudden you realize, oh my God, this was a great haircut 3 minutes ago and it's not a great haircut anymore? Because we ran right past the finish line? What my statement is going to be this. Tell me if you agree or you disagree. A haircut will never look finished until it is lined and edged. Would you agree with that statement? A haircut will never look finished until it is lined and edged. Second statement. A haircut that is lined and edged will look doner sooner. I can make up words. Would you agree with that?
It's true.
Move the lining and edging. This one technique alone, if you use none of this, but tomorrow you move the lining and edging from the end of your haircuts to the middle of your haircuts, watch the numbers. I suggest you do 50% of a haircut. Do whatever you consider half a haircut and stop in the middle. That is half a haircut. I would under no circumstances claim that's done. That's half a haircut. Stop in the middle of the haircut. Line and edge the haircut. In the black community, in the Latin community, lining and edging takes more time and is a larger portion of our haircut. Would you agree with that? There's a lot more detailing done on a lot of these textured fades and a lot of these really tight haircuts like that. But generally speaking, lining and edging represents approximately 10% of a haircut. Do half your haircut. Stop in the middle of the haircut and line and edge the haircut. At this point in time, you have done 60% of the haircut. All of a sudden, you'll see the whole haircut finished before your eyes. You will see the end sooner. At this point, you will have approximately 15% left. You did 50, and you did 10, you're at 60. You thought you had 40, but you only really have 15. At that point, you will do you'll do your remainder of your haircut, and you will finish your haircut in 75% of your timing, saving you 25%. Does everybody understand the math? Everybody see where I got the numbers? By moving the lining and edging from the end of the haircut to the middle, you will cut as much as a quarter of your time off of every single haircut that you cut. Because nothing looks finished until it's lined and edged. And as soon as it's lined and edged, it will look doner sooner. Let's line and edge. For lining and edging, I'm going to switch to the detailing end of my finishing comb, or of my Zoot comb. I'm going to switch to my trimmer from my clipper. We are in revolution number 4. Revolution number 4 is an even numbered revolution starting at the client's right temple, moving to the client's left temple. I will not break from revolution, except for a little. In a shop situation, we talked last time about how important our mirror is as a cutting tool for assessing these things. I'm not using my mirror right now because I'm cutting for all of you, but please know if I was in the shop, I would be standing here doing this sideburn in this ear area using my mirror as the powerful cutting tool it's supposed to be. In this case, I'm coming here. And by the way, this is a great trimmer. Babyliss gave me a couple samples of this. It's crazy loud because this is an early prototype and the yoke isn't what they find with the production end of it. So I apologize for the fact that it's a little bit loud. It cuts really nice, but it's offensively loud. And I dropped this one a couple times, so it doesn't even cut that nice anymore.
That's pretty impressive though, considering like it's not.
What's that?
It's not like when it's not like an airplane.
One more time.
It's not as loud as I was expecting.
There are some that are terrible.
That's
I got my hair cut the other day by a guy, and you know, there's so many tools out there now. When I got in the business, it was Andis, Oster, and Wall.
Yeah.
That's all there was. Now you got so many of these other companies, and this guy was telling me he loves this trimmer. And he popped this trimmer on, and it sounded like killer hornets. You know, the murder hornets that never showed up? that we were supposed to have, but we had COVID instead. Oh my God, the murder hornets, this thing. He goes, I love this trimmer, but it's so crazy loud. Yeah, there's so much stuff out there. Okay, sideburn, ear area, break from revolution. Normally I'd be here coming around this way, but we know when we cut necklines, we don't cut necklines all the way across. We start in the center and we unload from both sides. So this is a legitimate break from revolution. Up the other side. I find myself at the client's left temple at the end of revolution number
End of
4, the beginning of revolution number 5. Revolution number 5 is,
Tighten.
can't read my handwriting. He's looking at that going, what the hell
I don't
did
have
you
my
write?
glasses on either.
Yeah,
so.
no glasses and you can't read my handwriting. It says tighten perimeter, number 2 guard. So I go back to my clipper, I pick up my number 2 guard. This is skip guard tapering. Did we talk about skip guard tapering last time I was here?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, if we didn't, go to my YouTube channel, go to YouTube, type in Ivan Zoot skip guard tapering. Single most popular technique I've ever shared, changed more lives in the beauty industry than anything I've ever done. How to properly taper with snap-on attachment guides or guards. Real quick, I use my 4, I skip my 3, I go to my 2. I go half as high with my 2 as I did with my 3, and if I rock it out just right, I get a very nice, and by the way, what'd you just see right there? What did I just do right there? I went like that. What is that?
Oh, okay.
It's counter revolution. I'm supposed to be going this way, but because of natural growth direction, I came up on it like that. So technically I broke from revolution just a little bit. Okay, now I'm going to come in, I'm going to tighten up the perimeter on this. Notice 2 tools, one hand in the clipper, one hand on the clipper, one hand under the clipper. And I'm tapering in and softening up that bottom edge. Here, around the ear is with revolution. I come to the front corner, tighten it up. The end of revolution number 5, the beginning of revolution number 6. Revolution number 6 is
Blending.
blending. How is it different blending wise? Because we blended in revolution number 3. When we went counterclockwise, we blended in revolution number 6 going clockwise. We get that difference. We get one and the other. And what is the other difference? This one was underhand, this one's going to be overhand, because not only am I going in 2 different directions, I'm going to use 2 different techniques, because biomechanically, if I missed it, I'll catch it. If I caught it, I'll miss it. So I end up doing better work. I come back to where I left off. In this case, I'm going to go underhand, and I'm just going to tweak up my blend. Think of the 2 blending revolutions as roughing in the blend and polishing up the blend. Now I'm going to be more careful and more critical of what I'm looking at. I'm going to assess contour, silhouette, outline, and shape as I go. I'm going to be looking at the quality of the finished work as I work. And I'm just going to be checking through it and tuning up and tweaking up anything in the blend throughout the haircut as I work my way around the head. Questions? Comments? Anybody? Anything?
What's the purpose of starting from left to right?
What's the purpose of?
Like, when you start on step 1, why do you have to start on the left?
As a right-handed hair cutter, I'm going to start with step 1 at the client's left temple. It's to be organized, to have a system to approach that way. Left-handed hair cutters will start on the other side. And they'll go 1, 2, 3, 4. They'll flip-flop it. What's that?
Is it to like see a guy?
It's to be able to see the guides, it's to have a template, it's to have a format. Here's the question, could a right-handed hair cutter start at the other side? Could you? You could, but generally speaking, when we, as right-handed hair cutters, cutting in a traditional barbershop manner, we stand to this side of the chair with our hip. Our right hip is a right-handed hair cutter facing the station. Our tools are plugged in, our cords are there, our tools are here. We're oriented in the room properly. It just makes sense with all the ways that we interact with the environment, both with the client, with the tools and equipment, with our physical circumstances. It just makes sense that all of it starts that way. So as right-handed hair cutters, we always begin at the client's left temple. and it's flip-flop for lefties. Does that make sense?
So, yeah, so when you start your haircut, so say you do your consultation, you're facing the mirror, you're facing them, and you're on this side, you turn completely away from the mirror when you first start your haircut?
Let's walk through it. I understand where you're going. What are we doing for you today, buddy? You want the back and sides like a 4 taper down? You want it a little longer than finger length, kind of spiky on top? You normally put gel in it? Yeah, just kind of rough it up with gel, run a towel through it, gel in it, out the door you go. Boom, you got it, buddy. All right, let's go. Boom, revolution number 1 starts here. Have my consultation, turn the chair. Now, you can turn the chair in 1 of 2 ways. I either go here and go to there, or typically me, I'm gonna go the long way. I'm gonna bring them all the way around to here. Yeah. And by the way, please know, there is a chain, here in America, there is a chain that has little TVs at every station. What's on the TV? The game. Okay, know who these guys are. I did some work with them. I did some consulting with them. I shared some of these efficiency tips with them for haircutting in their system. And their senior vice president of education and training at their main corporate headquarters told me, we can't do that because we cut hair with the client facing the TV. That's what they told me. I said, well, you have a choice between whether the client faces the TV or whether your people can work effectively and efficiently and do good work. And do you know what their answer was? It is more important to us that the client is facing the TV. That was their answer. Because the TV is part of their USP, their unique selling proposition. And while I don't agree with it from a technical standpoint, this is the same organization that has told me repeatedly, and I quote, we don't really care about the haircuts. We're more interested in the client experience. And I respect that. I understand it, and I respect it. And hands down, they are not, nationwide, maintaining their reputation as the best haircutters in the industry. But for many years, they've been the #1 fastest growing franchise business in America. Of all franchise businesses in America, from haircuts to hot dogs to dry cleaning to coffee to you name it. Because they are delivering a magical experience. But they don't really care about the technical aspects of what they do. And they admit it, at least they own it. Does that answer your question with regards to starting at that corner and moving around?
Yeah.
Okay. Where are we? Where do we leave off? You sidetracked me. It's okay though. What?
So when you do the clippers on top, the scissor over comb on top, what if people are more specific with like scissor cutting?
Okay. In this particular example of a haircut, I layered the interior with a clipper.
Right.
Could you do what I just did with scissors? Could you layer the interior with scissors? Could you, instead of, let's go back to revolution number 2, from the client's right temple to the client's left temple, could, excuse me, could I have started here, scissor over comb, instead of clipper over comb, and layered the top with my scissors? If that was an issue. Okay.
You could.
Let me ask you this though. If a client says, I want you to cut my hair with your scissors, do we do that? You ever had a client wants a short tapered haircut, says, no clipper. I don't want the clipper. I want the whole thing done with scissors. Do we do that?
No. I wouldn't.
How do we respond to that client? What does that consultation sound like?
I'd say I feel like I
Okay,
would
stand up, play with me here. We're having a little client consultation.
So how short, oh, I'm already standing behind you, I already made a mistake. So, how when was your last haircut?
About 4 weeks ago.
4 weeks ago? Okay, how short do you normally go on the sides? So you taper it down? Do you like normally go pretty close? Like
Yeah, it's
skin in there?
tight, yeah.
Tight, yeah.
Yeah, skin fade.
Sweet. And what about the top? Do you normally just take
I like it longer. I like it longer.
Yeah.
You know, longer than finger length on top. Just, I'm gonna spike it up with some gel.
They normally do scissor cut on top for you, or just the clippers on there. Just
I wouldn't
finger
ask.
length. No, you
I wouldn't ask, because you've now opened the door for him to say, I don't want the scissors, I don't want the clipper. Now, we've heard this. I don't like clipper, I don't want clipper on the top of my head, I don't like the way clipper cuts my hair. Have you heard this before?
Yeah.
You had this conversation, so how do we address that?
I'd say I think I could get a better result if I use the tools I'm most comfortable with.
Okay.
Or if I were to use my scissors, I would say like, oh, if you want finger length on top, my scissors are only gonna get it this long, and you're gonna complain.
Depends on the size of my fingers.
Yeah.
I got big fingers, you got little fingers.
Yeah.
Client is allowed to tell you what they want. They're not allowed to tell you how to get there. Client is allowed to tell you what they want. I want hair spiky on top. All right, I'll cut it spiky on top. Let's not talk about the tool. Don't bring up what tool you're going to use and what your approach is. The clipper may be more efficient for you. The clipper may be. Why do we pick a clipper? How many tools could you use to cut the top of my hair?
Anything really.
Anything really. Could you use a scissor?
Yeah.
Could you use a clipper?
Yeah.
Could you use a razor?
Yeah.
Could you use a piece of a broken beer bottle you found in the street?
Yeah.
Absolutely. We have tools. Why do we choose the tools we choose?
It's faster and efficient.
Because we know what to do, what to use.
Because I got a license and I got how many years of experience and I know what I'm doing. Back to beauty school we go. In one of the first pages of your beauty school book, the big thick book they gave you, was a haircutting diagram. Those are hair shafts with very blunt ends on them. That's the scissors. They called it blunt cutting or club cutting. Puts a 90-degree end, a very heavy end on the hair shaft. You want to cut a Vidal Sassoon inspired real swingy bob, you're going to cut it with the scissors. Scissors create weight, the accumulation of weight in the ends of the hair for a particular desired textural outcome. Do you remember the razor cutting diagram? It looked like that. The razor comes in at a diagonal, peeling away the cuticle, exposing a large quantity of the cortex, giving you a very movable, mobile, slithery, tendrily activated end to the hair shaft. I got to draw a razor now. That's a razor. On a scale of 1 to 10, scissor cutting is a 1, minimal texture. Razor cutting is a 10, maximum texture. Think shag haircut, Rod Stewart, 1970s, early 80s. No weight whatsoever, totally activated surface, hair everywhere. Razor cutting. Remember this diagram? That's clipper cutting. While each, excuse me, I'm having a little trouble here. While each and every hair is cut blunt, no two hairs fall to the exact same point. Clipper. There's a staggered effect in the ends of the hair as a byproduct of the reciprocating action of the clipper blade. I love that sentence. It's in one of my books. There's a staggered effect in the ends of the hair as a byproduct of the reciprocating action of the clipper blade. Who can say that in English? There's a staggered, get your hands out. Here we go. Get your hands out, everybody. Here we go. The blade wiggles. The hair's broken up. The blade wiggles. The hair's broken up. If this is a 1 and this is a 10, give me a number for clippers. What do clippers do?
5.
I believe it's about a 3.5. While each and every hair is cut blunt, no two hairs fall to the same point. This doodle right here is the answer to the question, why would you pick up which tool? You look at a client's hair. You run your hand through it. You look at the picture. You have a toolbox. This drawer is a toolbox. It's full of tools. At some point in life, you cross paths with a hardware salesperson. You must have the hardware to do our jobs. The hardware salesperson sells you clippers, and trimmers, scissors, and razors. I'm not a hardware salesperson. I'm a software installation technician. Their job is to load your toolbox. My job is to load your hard drive. My job is to provide you with the information so that when you have that consultation and you reach for the drawer, you know what to take out. That's a long conversation that I just had with you guys about this textural issue. I need to have that conversation with a client, but I need to have it more concisely, short, quick, as part of a consultation. How do you want your haircut? I want spiky on top, I want the back and sides tapered up with a 2 down to 0 on the back and sides. Okay, great. I'm gonna start cutting your hair. I'm not gonna tell you what tools I'm gonna use. I'm not gonna have that conversation. When I get out the clipper and I go underhand over the top of the head, and he goes, whoa, 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 dude, you cut the top of my hair with a clipper? Has that ever happened? Somebody, what are you doing? Wait, what are you doing? Because it's different from what they've experienced in some other chair, in some other place, at some other time. My comment is, well, yeah, I was going to layer the top of your head with a clipper because you want your hair to be spiky. And I want to create a haircut that's going to look better today and every day between now and the next haircut. And because of the texture that is a byproduct of my tools, I have all the cutting tools in the drawer. I have scissors, I have razors, I have clippers. But for your hair, for the look we're after, clippers are going to give you the best look today and every day between now and the next haircut. What does he say?
Nothing.
Yeah, go for
He's
it.
gonna be like, okay.
That's it. Cool.
Cool.
Cool. Yeah, because I've exerted my authority, I've demonstrated my credibility, I've set an example of my understanding of the category. Nobody's going to argue with me. Do you ever argue with your tax accountant about how he does his job? I don't understand that shit. Why would I even talk to him? Just, send me the bill. Take care of it. That's why I have you. I don't understand that stuff. Make sense? Where do we leave off?
Blending.
Blending. Revolution number 6. Blending. 6 is an even. By the way, notice evens and odds. All the evens on one side, all the odds on the other. So evens, it's a 6. It's here. It's blending. It's underhand. I think I got about halfway through it, but it don't matter. See, I see little things here, like there's a little tweak in the bottom corner that's needed. That could be a trimmer piece, but since I have my clipper in my hand, I can use that. Try to use whatever tool's in your hand at the time. End of revolution number 6, beginning of revolution number
7.
excuse me, revolution number 7 is what?
Blending shears.
Blending shears. Blending shears. The rule on blending shears, anytime you ever pick up a blending shear, you pick up a wide tooth comb. What's the guy's favorite styling tool?
Fingers. Hands.
Wide tooth comb. This right here. This is a high performance men's hair cutting and hair styling kit. It is a wide tooth comb and a towel. He's going to rub it with a towel. He's going to run a wide tooth comb through it. He's going to grab a puck of pomade or paste or wax or gel or something like that. And he's good to go. Why do combs, conventional combs, have different tooth spacings or configurations? Thin, fine teeth, big, wide teeth, wide. One word, what is it?
Control.
Tension. Somebody said tension. Hey, tension. Thin, fine teeth apply maximum tension to the hair. Big, wide teeth apply minimal tension to the hair. You ever heard the expression going through it with a fine tooth comb? That's somebody who thinks they're in charge. Fine teeth give us more control. Wide teeth give us less. When we pick up a blending scissors, we always pick up a wide tooth comb. I want the hair to lay and go and fall and do and be where it lays and goes and falls and does and bees on its own. I don't want to influence it by going after it with fine teeth. I'm going to use my wide teeth to work through the hair. When I hold this comb up between his head and my head, this comb has 2 sides. This side of the comb is referred to as my side. This side of the comb is referred to as his side. My side, his side. Blending is done on my side of the comb. Bulk reduction is done on his side. Blending on my side, bulk reduction on his. The two different sides of your comb. Revolution number 7, blending shears. Starting over at the client's left temple, I'm going to come in at an angle. I'm looking for high points, jumps, bumps, steps, ledges, ridges, or demarcations. Anything sticking up, sticking out, or sticking through the haircut that needs to be blended off will extend out beyond the comb in the form of a point or a triangle or a demarcation that needs to be blended off. And I'm going to blend it off. Now I am just blending at this point. I could also incorporate into my blending step my bulk reduction. Bulk reduction is done like this. I'm coming in underneath the comb. See the difference? Blending is done outside the comb. Bulk reduction is done under the comb. I'm combing through the hair to feel for where the hair is thick or heavy, anywhere there's push, anywhere there's resistance, anywhere there's obstruction. I come in and I blend it off. End of revolution number 7. Do we add additional revolutions to the haircut, or are we done?
If we need to.
What's that?
If you can, if you need to.
Can if you need to. Absolutely. In this case, I would probably add an additional blending revolution just to detail up some of the edges and tweak up some of the details on this. Eyebrows, ear area, around the ear.